Greetings, cartoonists! This is Matt Patrick. As a person that really enjoys Garfield from his comics, his TV specials, and his cartoons like Garfield and Friends, I was open to the idea that Garfield will be coming back to the big screen. And what was it like? Well, how do I put this?
Oh, I'm the film that brought back Garfield. I am here to mark his lazy cat. When I'm around, his fate will get sealed. But now it's all gone, Sony style.
Yeah, that. Everybody's favorite lasagna-loving cat is back on the big screen like you've never seen him before. The last time he had his own feature-length film were the live-action adaptations, and they both ended up awful. Anyways, Garfield will only continue to make movies as CGI direct-to-video DVDs, but Sony decided to give another go for the cat, but this time as a fully animated feature starring Chris Pratt. And we're going to review this movie to see if the fun will never really end on this movie. Welcome to another episode of The Wonder Reviews. Let's see how many lives are really left on these Garfield movies. This is the Garfield movie. In this adaptation, Garfield, voiced by Chris Pratt, and his pal Odie are captured by a literal crazy old cat lady named Jinx, but they get rescued by Garfield's dad named Vic, played by Samuel Jackson. The reason why they're in this mess is because Vic abandoned Jinx at the milk farm. However, if they pay her back by stealing all the milk as debt, they can be set free. As you would expect, this is another father and son relationship story where Garfield has to learn to get along with his dad in order to survive and become a team. Unfortunately, that's all there is to this Garfield movie. It checksmarks every trope regarding daddy issues like the parent goes missing while the baby is abandoned, the arguments where the parent tries to explain their side of the story, the heartwarming moment indicating he does love his son, and so on and so forth. It's extremely predictable and you know where the relationship is going to stand. The movie tries to make things interesting by turning it into a heist movie, but the pacing on hijacking the farm also drags on for a long time, such as mapping out the plan, doing some training, and then finally butts inside the place. It just makes the overall concept like the heist movie and the father and son relationship look like this was supposed to be an episode of one of Garfield's cartoon, but stretched into a 100-minute movie. And since it is a Garfield movie, it should at least apply some comedy, and it does, but it can feel mixed. Sometimes they can be funny, but other times they just don't work or never did. The culprit behind this lackluster comedy is that they're trying to make Garfield more modern, including those dumb plug-in projects like Olive Garden and Netflix, and the use of drones and cell phones, which the latter just so happened to have an app that allows you to translate animal language. Did they forget the Garfield character was made in 1978? There are some references to the comics, but there's so little of it. And do you know what's weird and disappointing about the lack of Garfield references? Is that the movie did not even want to make a joke about Jim Davis' other comic series, U.S. Acres. They have a farm in the movie, but they didn't have the budget to make a cameo for Orson and his barnyard friends. Now that's just not right. But only one question remains. How can you make a movie starring Garfield and his other friends? Well, it is nice to see them again, it's just that they don't really offer a lot when making the movie. There are some good voice acting from Samuel Jackson, Hannah Waddington, and even Chris Pratt, but it's not enough to make the Garfield movie a funny comedy because of the plot. With Garfield, he is the lazy fat cat that loves to sleep and eat delicious meals like lasagna. He has a sense of self-esteem, but shows he has a good heart with John, Odie, and Vic. But surprisingly, Chris Pratt did a great job in portraying the cat. Yes, he's no Lorenzo Music, but he managed to capture Garfield's ego and delivers the best jokes in the movie with some nice improv.
We're gonna need the big scale!
Does she need to announce it to the whole office?
There's Odie, Garfield's best friend, who lets the cats boss him around and turns out to be smart in this adaptation. And whenever a conflict occurs, he just sits back and relax or performs an activity to pass the time, which is probably why he's the best character in the movie. John Arbuckle is Garfield's owner, and that's all we know about him in this film. He doesn't really give anything, even if he's worried about his pets going missing. We do get a new retelling on how he met Garfield, and while it is cute and funny, the relationship doesn't really come back into play in the present time. As for the new characters, a few of them do supply some entertainment, but others not a whole lot. Garfield's dad, Vic, is the stray cat that used to be a thief and is trying to rekindle his relationship with Junior. There can be some heart to the relationship, but it's not a lot, and we know nothing about Vic other than he's Garfield's dad. Oh, and by the way, Garfield's dad was never seen in any of the comics or cartoons until now. We've only seen Garfield's mom and other family members from his specials. Otto is the bull that helps the animals perform the milk heist in exchange for his reunion with his fiancée, Jinx's dog henchmen are the typical big guy and skinny guy that follows orders, and Marge is the security guard that behaves the most like Mrs. Tweety from the Chicken Run movies. But then there's the villain of the film, Jinx. Imagine Yzma from the Emperor's New Groove, except she stays as a cat throughout the entire running time, and her goal is to get revenge on Vic for leaving her in the pound. As a villain, she can be pretty enjoyable with her over-the-top reactions, and she changes emotions alongside her moon necklace. We have seen Garfield appear in 3D several times, but out of all the CGI versions, I think this is the best one we got so far. It's not spectacular, and the hand-drawn style has more depth than this, but for what it is, it does look decent. The animation has definitely captured the look of the Jim David design from the comics. However, I do have some issues with it, like they put in too many details on the animal texture, and the human designs on John and the others do not translate well into 3D. And since Garfield is not known to take us to immersive places, the settings like John's house and the train don't really offer a lot. The only place that offers some substance is Lactose Farm, changing it from a simple farm into a tourist attraction / dairy factory, filled with dangerous traps to surprise the cats and Odie. When it comes to the cartoony animation, that's where things start to get really enjoyable. It allows the animator to display a bunch of slapstick, squash and drag, and even expressions whenever Garfield eats some food. And I will admit, some of the action scenes like the highs and the climax are fun to watch. Plus, there are some good 2D art styles whenever it cuts to a flashback of Jinx and Otto. It almost looked like it was actually mimicking the comic panels. Well, the animation is not at the levels of Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, Illumination, and Sony Animation, but the quality is still good. If they go easy on the textures and actually play around with the comic book effects like the Spider-Verse movies or the Peanuts movies, this could have been a really entertaining Garfield movie. But after watching the entire film, I still felt like I didn't watch a movie, but more like a weak, underwhelming cartoon episode. The Garfield Movie is one of the most mediocre anime films I've seen this year. There are some funny jokes, good voice acting, and decent animation, but the script really felt like it was written by Mondays. They try so hard to make Garfield more modern, and the characters inside the movie are just bland. Maybe some Garfield fans and kids might like this, but my best recommendation is just stick with the Garfield cartoons and only the Garfield cartoons. In fact, there are plenty of Garfield specials that have a more cinematic story than this, like his 9 Lives, The Halloween Adventure, Babies and Bullets, and lots more. It's probably best to just keep the Orange Cat on TV and the comics, nothing more, nothing less. I'm going to give it a C. I'm Matt Harpatrick, now if you'll excuse me, June is coming, and it can only mean one thing, Toon Quill Month! Okay, what's the first sequel review on the month agenda? On second thought, I'll take a vacation to the planet Clarion.
The ants who ruin your dinner, we're always here to mess up any day.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, check out these other videos, or feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more upcoming reviews and other projects. I'll see you soon.